There's something unsettling about realizing a person who once knew every version of you now acts like you never existed. Not an enemy, not even a memory, just a stranger with your secrets. People talk about heartbreak like it only happens in relationships, but nobody really warns you about friendship heartbreak, the kind where you replay conversations for months trying to figure out when things started feeling off, the kind where you miss the person and resent them at the same time. The weird part is that friendships rarely explode overnight. Most of them die slowly, quietly. Sometimes people simply drift apart. Different lives, different priorities, different energy. Sometimes one moment changes everything. One argument, one betrayal, one truth you can't unsee. And sometimes you finally realize the friendship was never balanced to begin with. That last one hurts differently. Because you start revisiting old memories and noticing things you ignored before. Tiny moments that felt off, but you convinced yourself were harmless. Little comments disguised as jokes. Situations where your feelings somehow always became the problem. Times you felt small around someone who claimed to care about you. At first, you excuse it. Maybe they're stressed. Maybe they didn't mean it like that. Maybe you're overthinking. So you stay. And because humans get attached to potential, you keep holding on to the version of them you created in your mind. The confident one, the loyal one, the person you believed saw value in you. Meanwhile, reality keeps leaking through the cracks. You notice they celebrate themselves louder than they celebrate you. You notice your good news makes them uncomfortable. You notice they only listen long enough to speak again. You notice apologies never really sound like apologies, but by then, leaving feels complicated. Especially if they were there during lonely parts of your life. Especially if you built pieces of your identity around their presence. Especially if you became used to shrinking yourself to keep the peace. That's the dangerous thing about certain friendships. You don't realize how exhausting they are until they're over. One day you wake up and understand something terrifying. You've been trying to earn basic respect from someone who should have given it freely. And suddenly, all the old moments replay differently. The ignored messages, the subtle humiliation in front of other people, the weird competition that only existed on one side, the way they disappeared when things were good for you, but expected you to appear whenever they needed comfort. You start seeing patterns instead of isolated incidents. That's usually the beginning of the end. Not the screaming match, not the dramatic goodbye. Just clarity. The quiet realization that peace feels safer than attachment. And honestly, sometimes the hardest part isn't losing the friendship. It's accepting that the person you loved may have only existed in your imagination. Maybe they were never who you thought they were. Maybe you were in love with who they could be. Maybe you kept confusing familiarity with loyalty. Either way, eventually, you stop mourning the person. You start mourning the time, the energy, the version of yourself that kept tolerating things you would never accept now. And then something strange happens after walking away. Life gets quieter. Not emptier, just quieter. No tension, no decoding hidden disrespect, no feeling drained after every interaction, just space. And in that silence, you finally hear yourself again.